going on? Getting some videos queued up. All right, everybody. Good evening. It is 10:07, and what's up, Phil? Do me a favor, Phil. Hit that share button. Text it to some people that you think might want to join in this discussion. And yeah, I'm actually thinking I might throw in some of that video you sent me. I did get to watch it on the way home. Gonna let some people get in the chat real quick, but yeah, we're gonna discuss Christians and politics and conspiracy theories and all that good stuff. So we're just waiting for some folks to get in the room so we can get the discussion going. But while we're waiting, let me hit this pre-roll. Oh, no, wrong thing. We're going to do, I think it's that. Yeah. Of course, it's got the wrong background. I've got to figure out how to do this where it does the background, the right background. Anyway, so if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, and you definitely want to hit the notifications because you don't want to miss stuff like this. And I'm sharing this to some folks that I think would definitely want to be in on this conversation. Oh, yeah. I got 2 more people I got to send it to. Okay. Tell me if you're watching. Who's watching? Tell me who's watching. I know hopefully Phil's still there. I'm about to send this to my other Phil. Phil and... There we go. Select all. Paste. Okay. Let's get crack-a-lacking. For the night it's upon me, and I have an early morning. Oh yeah. There's a lot of. We're gonna have to be very careful as to because we in the matrix, so we have to be very careful as to how we use our terms here. How we use our words, because I don't want anything to get flagged. And I actually had something happen on the live stream yesterday with my friend Rod Saunders. He had a typo in his YouTube comment, and YouTube flagged it, wouldn't let it post. So it was they are watching everything we say. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is let's start with the politics thing. I don't really talk politics. I've been very hesitant and to talk about politics because this is a music channel. I'm a musician. I really want to gear this towards church music and musicians and Christian musicians, but there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now, and I know politics is downstream from culture. Culture is downstream from family, and family is downstream from ideology and faith. That's what builds an individual, right? So, but unfortunately, even though politics is downstream, it really can have a profound effect on our lives and everything going on in there. And as believers, I was actually texting this to a couple friends of mine. I was like, I just don't know what to do at this point. It's kind of bananas and bonkers with everything going on in this world. I'm just a really good friend of mine for nearly I think over 20 years we've been friends now. He basically just completely, he's just a strong believer, incredible musician. He just like, man, I'm just out of it. And I have so much peace in my life. I don't vote anymore. I just don't care because And he was, saying, he's like, show me in the Bible where we're supposed to be concerned about these things. We're supposed to be impacting people, not trying to litigate these things. And an incredible woman of God I heard at a conference I was at for New Year's this year. She actually said that, the more we try to legislate our beliefs, legislating our beliefs as Christians is really no different than trying to instigate it and implement Sharia law. That's what she said. And I was like, and she talked about that she worked in heavy pro-life causes and pro-life things. And, but to try to make that and do those things through law, it was just like, that's kind of going about it backwards, right? So I've been chewing on that. Here we are, it's November, Thanksgiving's in a week, and I'm just kind of chewing on these things, and I was hoping more of you would be in the chat by now, but hopefully you'll be in a few minutes. And, of course, me being me, it'll be interesting to see if how many people YouTube actually shows this to, because it knows I'm all about Jesus. So it's like, we don't necessarily want this guy that loves Jesus. We don't want him talking about any of these other things. So while we're waiting for folks to come in the chat, we're going to see if people come in the chat today. We're going to see if people come in the chat today. Come on, people, come in the chat today. Well, while I'm waiting for y'all to come in the chat, I'm going to start this video. And of course, it changes the background. Of course, it's going to change the background. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do... Hold up, what is this one? Yeah, we don't want that one. We want... I want to turn that off. Y'all let me know if you're in here. If you're in here, say something. Drop a comment or something while I'm adding the correct background to this screen. Matrix, there we go. We're in the Matrix today, so we're going to put the Matrix on. There we go. Okay, we're in the Matrix. Let's make that full screen. And I found this video the other day, and I thought it was incredibly interesting. So we're going to let this go while we're waiting for folks to get in here.
T-Rex fossil. All right, guys, we're going to start off this video with when were the dinosaurs discovered? T-Rex fossil. Dinosaurs are a wide range of reptiles that have existed for 200 million years. Presently, they are extinct, but a few animals, birds today still have resemblances to this dominant species. Topic of discussion is dinosaur remains are still a topic of contention among experts in related fields. The source of this debate comes from the fact that the very first dinosaur remains were discovered at a time when English language did not have a word for dinosaur in their vocabulary. So when was it discovered? Most experts agree that the dinosaur saga began in the later stages of the 17th century, when scientists had not come to terms with the idea of fossil remains. However, Robert Pilot was attached to Oxford Ashmolean Museum. Sounds like Smithsonian. Came across an unusually large thigh bone. He was forced to confront the fact that it belonged to something that was dead. Pilot's conclusions were that the bone came from a large race of humans that had existed before. Ironic, huh? His premise was of the conclusion based on the Bible about Goliath being a 9-foot giant, despite his wrong conclusions. Ever wrong, people, wrong. Shame on you for believing in giants. Pilot had stumbled across a great discovery that would be given the name dinosaur later on, and not to mention, guys, there was a whole bunch of giant remains.
I want to know who has Goliath's skull, because somebody has Goliath's sword, and somebody has Goliath's skull. I want to know who. I want to know. I want to know, y'all. Whoops, hold up. Not that. I want to move me. There we go. Okay.
There was a whole bunch of giant remains found during the 1800s, tons of them. You guys can look those up. We'll look at those later. As well as, St. Paul's cathedrals and stuff. And there's a lot of Catholic cathedrals that still house dragon bones, guys. Look that one up. After Pilot's discovery, several other British scientists began to examine the remains of that and made their own conclusions. For example, the 1763 Richard Brooks, of English physician, earned himself a spot in history books by giving the name of the bone discovered by Pilot. The name was officially a recognized name given to dinosaurs under the how do you guys say that? Bionomical naming system of Carl Linnaeus. The name Brooks gave the bone was Scrotum humanium. Due to the unidentified nature of the name, it was scratched on the record in the 1990s. 1824 and 1825, William Buckland and Gideon Mantle were both experts in the field, came up with other names that are still in use today. Mantle would go on to add many other names in his discoveries, which makes debate discovered dinosaurs more interesting. Some experts argue that Mantle was a major contributor towards the discovery of dinosaurs. A scientific known as Richard Owen, invented the word dinosaur in early in 1842. After examining the species that were named by those who came before him, after his examination, he came up with the word dinosaur. For this reason, he is credited as the man who discovered dinosaurs, despite all the hard work that had already been done for him. Hence the argument that all credit should have gone to his nemesis, Gideon Mantell. Dun, dun, dun. However, Owen realized something the others did not. While examining all the fossils, he discovered that they had common features. The fossils did not simply belong to a huge animal species, but an entirely new one that gave the name to the dinosaur. However, Owen envisioned wrongly that dinosaurs were four-legged reptiles depicted on London's Crystal Palace Park. I believe that dinosaurs are warm-blooded reptiles, their own species, and that's what I'm taking to the bank. It's all theories, it's all hypotheses. But anyway, this will start our adventure. And you guys remember this date? 1842.
1842.
Right. Let's see. It looks like a weird
The word
dinosaur.
dinosaur.
1842. Remember that date?
Yeah, and remember that because in the Bible, people talk about, there's no dinosaurs in the Bible. Well, you got to go to Job, chapter 40. I think it's chapter 40 with Behemoth and Leviathan. And but yeah, the word dragon is in there lots of times, and it's not always talking about Satan. It's talking about creatures. So yeah, there's a whole lot of. That'll be a whole other live stream on another day, but we're gonna let this keep on going. So let me know what things, let me know your thoughts about the politics stuff in the comments. If you're catching this after the live, let me know in the comments what you think Christians should do about politics. Should we engage? Should we disengage? Should it be nominal? Should it be something at the forefront? Let me know some concerns that you have in the comments. And since we're kind of switching over to the conspiracy side, yeah, definitely let me know what your thoughts are on dinosaurs. Were you taught evolution or theistic evolution, or did you get saved later in life and you just never really thought about it? Like, well, Jesus is Lord. I believe the Bible. I believe, born of a virgin, did miracles, is the Son of God, is God, part of the triune God. He's Echad. He's 3 in 1. But also part of the Trinity. We don't know how it works. We're never going to understand it because it's just beyond human understanding. But you believe all that stuff, but, you've never given much thought to, evolution and dinosaurs and all that stuff. So let me know in the comments what you think.
Discovery of dinosaur bones. Found some bones in the 1600s, called it a giant human skeleton, and then later realized that we were wrong. They were a giant species of warm-blooded reptiles, in my opinion. Because there's no really other way you can pump that much blood up a Brachiosaurus's neck unless it was warm-blooded, four-chambered heart, all kinds of other stuff. I would argue. But then again, crocodiles and such. But yeah, let's get this adventure started with an amazing painting called The Suicide of Saul. You guys can look it up.
This is crazy.
Okay, the suicide.
Let me tell you, this you are not even ready for this. This is gonna blow your mind.
Saul, guys. Suicide of Saul is an oil on panel by the Netherlandish.
You heard about evolution in the 5th grade? And that's crazy, Phil, because you're not a young man, you're not. You're a little bit older than I am. So the fact that that's been propagated in this country for this long, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. I mean, it wasn't until when was the Big Bang Theory discovered? When was that theory? Discovery. Was it the 1920s, 1960s, 1965? Yeah. So, I mean, that's just anyway. I'm getting sidetracked. So let's get back to this. Anyway, it's just crazy that it was in the I guess the 1900s, where they call the 1900s the 20th century. But they weren't even sure, like, up until that point. They were just like, well, the universe is eternal. It didn't even have a beginning. And then they discovered, oh, the universe had a beginning, and just never bothered to question any of their presuppositions, because the Bible was saying, in the beginning, there was a point of creation, and at some point when we began to reject the idea of God, or rather not the idea, the reality of a creator, and then we're faced with the proof, society, not me, just oh, well, that's interesting. The Bible said that, the Torah said that in BC. Anyway,
resistance artist. Ooh, are we talking Tartaria stuff? Peter Bruegel the Elder, painted in 1562. Is a collection of the Kunsthistorisch Museum in Vienna. Excuse me. Not sure how to pronounce that. Siri, help me out. How do you pronounce this? Hold on, let me find it. Siri, you gotta help me. Speak it for me, Siri.
Of the Kunsthistorisch.
Okay. That's how you say it. All right. In the description, the painting identifies the subject of the rarity represented scene of the suicide of Saul after his defeat by the Philistines. These events are described in 1 Samuel. Now, the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines, fell slain on Mount Gilboa. Then the Philistines followed hard after Saul and his sons, and the Philistines killed Jonathan, Anadab, and Melchishua, Saul's sons. The battle became fierce against Saul. The archers hit him, and he was severely wounded, like Boromir in Lord of the Rings. Ah! Then Saul said to his armor-bearer, "Draw your sword and thrust it into me, lest these uncircumcised dogs thrust me through and abuse me, and poke me with their pointy sticks." But this armor-bearer would not, for he was greatly afraid. Therefore Saul took his own sword and fell on it. "I shall do this to myself." And then when this armor-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he also fell on his sword and died too. Oh, you're brave enough to kill yourself. Suicide Saul painting is pretty awesome. Let's see if I'm not sure how detailed this one is. But let's find a really detailed zoomed in one, because if we look over here, they got castles and everything.
This is so crazy.
When did this really happen? And look at it out in the distance. Do these look like dinosaurs? And if you get a higher definition picture, which we will find, I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised. Pretty awesome. And what in the world is burning out there? Never really recognized that. There's a lot going on. Where did Saul commit his suicide? Right here? Is this a Suicide of Saul painting? They call it that? Or is this just another Tartarian battle cover-up when they were conquering Tartaria? That is the real question, guys. The real question. Let's see if we have a higher definition picture. Oh, that's him. "I fell on my sword. Saul's wearing awfully nice armor for the day. I mean, aren't they supposed to be running at each other with slings? And they make sure they cleverly cut out the dinosaur here. We don't want them to see don't show them the dinosaur. Don't show them the dinosaur. See if there's a higher definition picture. No, there is not, guys. We are going to dig we're going to dig for our picture. Images. Let's see if I can change the settings. If not, I'm going to have to go to... I'll have to go to Google, and I don't like going to Google. Alright, let's see if we can find a high definition picture. I've found it before. I've actually shown it before. Oh yeah, there's some people circling the dinosaurs. Dude, there's dinosaurs in this.
Yep.
In this picture. Yes, there is. We just have to find a high definition picture of it. There's the Twitter version. But anyway, here's a...
Look at that.
Yeah, I mean,
Look at that.
I even had a higher definition picture.
So that's the thing. In this, they said, oh, well, they were dead for millions of years, and we had no knowledge of them. Hold up, let me read, Phil. Your science teacher was, so she had to teach it, though she didn't believe it. Yeah, young Earth theory, Phil. There's a lot of people that hold to that. There's a lot of people that debate for old Earth. I lean toward, because of a couple scientific proofs, I lean towards young Earth, but if it's old, it wouldn't bother me. But there's a couple things that I don't know, might be young. Mostly the distance of the moon from the Earth and the magnetic field of the Earth. If the Earth were much older than 10,000 years, basically the moon is on top of the Earth, and the tides are so strong that no life would be sustainable, and the magnetic strength of the Earth would kill anything and everything on the planet. But here's the thing. So they said that, we didn't start discovering dinosaurs until the 1800s, when men started digging up and doing archaeological studies. And, it's like, well, they had been dead for millions of years, so we had never known. And there's proof of men with dinosaurs all through history. And, I mean, from people carving, painting, drawing dinosaurs, the skin patterns of their scales, not feathers, their scales. And then we find mummified dinosaurs, and it's like, oh, look, it's exactly what what people were drawing. Look at that. What a coincidence. So here's a painting from 1562. And these are soldiers of some kind, obviously riding on sauropods, which even in the annals of, I think, Marco Polo, that they talked about. Oh yeah, big time, Phil. Yeah, they are. They don't mess around at the Ark and Creation Museum. I'm hoping to. I don't know if that's a trip I'd like to make every year with a group of people. That's a place that they got some good stuff there. Anyway, let's let the video finish out.
But I mean, that's obviously a dinosaur. I have. Oh, let's see if we can find it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pause the video, and I'm going to have to really dig and pull it out, because they've got some really high definition pictures of this that were taken from the museum location. All right, let's pause it. Okay. Here's a high definition picture of the zoomed in portion. They were getting really brutalized, weren't they? Horses, knights crossing the river. They're like, let's get the heck out of here. On the top of our dinosaurs. Let's get out of here on our dinosaurs. Somebody was like, well, that's a camel. Okay, fine. These are camels too, huh? Nice.
Yeah,
those are
not
those
camels.
certainly are camels, people. Yeah, those look like camels. You know what? Let's take it a step further, okay? Oh wait, and there was something else here. There was something right there. I forgot
it looks
what
like
that
some
was.
kind of ghostly figures, or maybe even.
Whoop, my bad. Okay, so
maybe even Nordic beings, if you're familiar with the three main classes of aliens.
Whoop, running you guys all over the place. My bad. Okay. We are going to edit this, and then we're going to put it into this. We're going to sharpen the image, guys. Let's zoom in to the dinosaurs. Let's sharpen that image a little more. Here we go. really sharpen it. Just really try to pull out the details. Here we go. Let's sharpen it all the way. Yeah, those are real, those are really interesting camels. Well, maybe it's a giant anteater, and that's the tail, and they're riding it backwards. Oh, even if a giant anteater, that'd be pretty cool. All right, so yeah. Well, there you go, guys. Suicide of Saul painting, and we are just getting started.
And I thought it was interesting that it was in the Suicide of Saul, of all paintings to hide some dinosaurs in, right? I mean, of all places, and let's pull that up. Suicide of Saul painting. No, not conversion. Just so you know that he's not, making it up. HD. Yes, Heather. Heather, please share this to fellow tinfoil hat wearing Christians. Here is the... you stink. Let's just see if we can download this. And download it to video and download it to graphics. There we go. Let's put it over there with Aleister Crowley and all the other creepy things I have in that. Oh, I know you are. Trust me. I know a lot of my folks are. Oh, well, okay. The thing just went from me and Phil to about 5 of y'all. Okay. So let's throw this up there and let's zoom in. So here we are. We're zooming in. What does that look like to you? You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Where's the... I don't know if I can edit with this one. No, I don't think I can edit with this one. So let's open it with another... Edit with Paint. There we go. Let's bring this over here. Yeah, that looks way, way better. It kind of digitizes it. Maybe this isn't the same one. Oh, I don't know if I can edit the sharpness in here, but I mean it's pretty. I mean it's pretty clear what's going on here, right? Right? I mean we're not crazy. So here's this painting in 1562, the Suicide of Saul. I can't remember where Saul is. Actually, I think this one. I think that picture's cut out. Actually, it's not even the entire thing. Let's see. Tools, size, large. So this is the whole thing. Oh yeah, this is from... Yeah, look at this. Okay, so there's Saul, and there's his servant, obviously not in historically accurate attire. But, so this was painted in 1562. And there's the Philistine army. But look at these two. Yeah, exactly, Heather. Those are sauropods. Clearly sauropods there in the background. I mean, the funny thing is, this person out hunt, that's what he was saying in the video. It's like, oh, that's a camel over here. Like, okay, we'll give you that one, that one's got a smaller neck. But like these... Look at the size of those things compared to the men. Camels are not that big. Camels are big, and even then he zoomed in more than I could here. Yeah, that's all I can zoom in. And he was like, "What are these things here?" I mean, they look like some kind of ghostly spirit. If I was gonna put my double, triple conspiracy tinfoil hat on, that would be maybe some Nordics there. You got the Greys, you got the Nordics, and you got the Reptilians, the three main class of extraterrestrials, aliens, demons. But yeah, so here we are. We have mainstream science telling us, oh, dinosaurs, they were millions of years ago. Men never saw them. They died out millions of years before men existed, and we had no idea that they were even around until we started digging up their bones in like the 1800s. And here's a painting in the 1500s completely wackadoing that theory. I mean, just, oh, look, it zoomed in just a little bit more. So let's see if I can get this where you guys can, there we go. So let's see if I can center this and click it. Oh, it just backed out the whole thing because this thing stinks. Let's see. If you're basing Pinto on little translation of scripture and the descriptions of Leviathan and of the beast, how could you not paint them like that? Absolutely. Well, yeah, and that's where I have issues with, I think, every translation except for the King James. Somebody check real quick. Somebody open up their Bible app and go to Job chapter 40, and I'll do it right here. Let's go to Job 40. And yeah, let's look up Behemoth. Okay, so that's in most of the translations. They didn't do it the NIV, but they put like in parentheses probably an elephant or a hippopotamus. You know, they put these dumb things. You know, I mean, if you don't know what it is, just say I don't know what it is. Where's Leviathan? Leviathan's right after that. Is that the next chapter? Is that in chapter 41? Yeah. So Leviathan is in chapter 41, and that one people just kind of scratch their head. Now you have Kent Hovind. Kent Hovind talks about it as he postulates that Leviathan might be super croc. Let's open up a window. Extinct. There's a specific picture that he has that shows you the size and scale. No, that's not it. It was essentially a 50-foot crocodile, which here's the thing. Everything in that time was bigger. Here we go. So that kind of gives you an idea, and even that's not. So yeah, 50 foot. But the funny thing is, so here's the thing. They 10 meters. So so Super Croc supposedly was 50 feet. Okay, Super Croc supposedly 50 feet. There are reports from the Congo, and they've actually caught I want to say it was 26 feet or almost 30 feet long Nile crocodile. No, there was a bigger one. There was a bigger one than that. And I'm pretty sure they got it from the Congo. There's a picture of it on the back of a truck. Yeah, behold now Behemoth. Yeah, that one's not even. I mean, that's obviously a big croc, but there's. Oh, here we go. It was this one, but there's another picture of it on the back of the truck that really showed you the scale. I mean, here's one that's 28 feet, but the natives in the Congo where that where was it? That this one was caught. They say, yeah, we've seen them bigger than that, and they've marked off on the sand. And like I said, Ken Hovind talks about this. They've marked off like 40, 50 feet, which is about as big as these supposed prehistoric crocs. So, yeah, y'all let me know. There's 4 of you in the chat. So that's my phone, Phil, Heather. What's some crazy conspiracy? What's the craziest thing you believe? So, it's concerning dinosaurs. Let's just start with that. So one of the crazy things that some people would look at me and be like, "Oh, you're crazy." As earthly creature or mythical sea monster, yeah, mythical. Why they got to add stuff? Didn't they heed Jesus' warning in Revelation? Don't add. Don't add and don't take away. Which, that's interesting. If you look at the Apocrypha, which also have parts of the book of Enoch, should that have been taken out? I don't know. I mean, the book of Jude has a whole lot of Enoch 1 in there. Anyway, so I personally, there's enough reports. I would argue or postulate. Let me postulate. I would postulate that there's enough evidence from just the last 200 years that there are some dinosaurs that are still alive. I can't remember the date. I want to say it's in the 1850s, somewhere in the 1800s, late 1800s, that before the word dinosaur was invented, so it must have been before 1846 when the word was invented, or maybe it hadn't caught on yet. But it's in the dictionary. Absolutely, Heather. Oh, you think they're writing giraffe, Phil, or you think that? Give me the reference for giraffe there. What you mean for giraffe? Is that what your Bible says? But anyway, so before the word dinosaur had caught on, or before it was invented, in the dictionary or in the Encyclopedia Britannica, which I can't remember, I'm gonna get this nailed down for next time I talk about this. Anyway, it says dragons. Okay, which dragons basically covered all these major super large reptiles. Diplodocus, Brontosaurus, I think it's theropods, the large 2-footed, which would cover your Deinonychus, your Velociraptors, your T-Rexes. Now listed as rare. That's what it said in the dictionary in the 1800s. It's like, yeah, these things are around, but they're just rare. We don't see them a whole lot. All right. And we've declared several species extinct. Coelacanth, it's extinct. We killed them all. They all disappeared. And then 1970s, it's like, oh, no, there's one. That's true. Yeah, Heather, that's true. That some of those, a lot of, actually, everything that we see in the museums, they're fakes. They're supposedly represent the actual bones. But there's very few complete skeletons. Like there's the Allosaurus of Ebenezer at the Creation Museum. I think they have. That's actually interesting. I need to look up how many complete. I know there are complete skeletons of T-Rexes. There are enough bones of a brachiosaur to know okay, yeah, that's what that thing looked like. Yeah, giraffe is totally a mammal. Yeah. So, and those guys are not riding giraffes. Giraffes don't have that kind of body. If you look at this, let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. No, we can't. That's as far as we can go. That's of giraffe's back slopes down. So, and giraffe, once again, the thing about behemoth in the Bible is this little thing. Hold up, let's go. Yeah, New King. I want to go to the King James. Let's go to the KJV. Those King James only guys. I'm not saying they're right, but sometimes it's better to go back to that KJV. Here we go. This is the line right here. He moves his tail like a cedar. Cedar. Now, the only animals that have a tail that thick really are the crocodilians. Every other animal has small tails. Elephants, small skinny tail. Hippo, got a little nub. Giraffe, tail very much like an elephant. It's, skinny with a tuft of, fur. You wouldn't even confuse it for a palm branch, which really would be a closer comparison. But tail like a cedar tree? Come on. Not even close. Not even close. But yeah, I really found this video interesting because there's just all sorts of little things out here. I've seen the pottery, I've seen the drawings, I've seen the carvings. How many people a behemoth feed the leather goods? What if all those ships weren't using? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, actually, Heather, it was funny. So I've always been fascinated by whaling. Not whaling like WAILAING, whaling WHAL, like the whales, like woo, whale song, sperm whale, Though I find it a little horrifying and brutal and maybe cruel, a little cruel. Yeah, I've it's like, but always I've still found it fascinating that you would have men back in the day getting tiny rowboats, and I mean, you'd have 3 little dinghies, so maybe like 15 guys go after a 30, 50, 60 foot long whale that weighs tons of tons, and we're going to kill it with little sticks. We're going to throw sticks with spears at this thing that is 40, 50, 60 foot long, or like blue whales, the largest creature that's ever lived. Blue whale, 100 feet long, and they're going to take sticks and throw it at it. Sticks and, because basically what they want to do is they throw them and hope that they get it deep enough to puncture the lung. And they knew once the whale spouted out blood, out of his blowhole, okay, we got it. Yeah. Yeah, well, this is why risk it? Because they're fierce. So now let's get, okay, so we're going to go down the road of yep, there it is. The Google knows because I look at this stuff all the time. So now let's go to the telling of Mkele Mbembe. Heather, you know about Mkele Mbembe? You ever heard about this? Oh wow, is that an actual picture? I've heard of a vocal recording, but I haven't. Oh yeah. Hold up, we gotta open that in a new tab. Yeah, hold up, we gotta 1 second. This one. Whew. Okay, so you have the locals once again down in the Congo that talk about Mkele Mbembe. Here is from Alligator Farm in Florida. What are you talking about, Phil? All right, so I don't remember who it was. I think it was when the Swedes or the Dutch, somebody, when they went down there to liberate, the people in the Congolese from the communists, or the communists went to liberate. I don't know. People be going over there and colonizing Africa all the time. That's actually legit colonization. But here we go. Here's a interesting picture. Yeah, there's all sorts of. Let me tell you, man, the evidence. There's lots. This was I've seen that. This is actually from a video right here. You guys can't see it really well. Shoot. Is it Alt? No, that's not it. Let's go. There we go. Let's go that way, and let's move me over just a little bit. So this is actually from a video. Someone, a military helicopter pilot, took this video. It's like I think they said it was 75 or 100 foot long, what looked like a snake over in one of the lakes over there. So anyway, but they went down there and they were talking on the Congo, and they're talking about, all the animals that are there and things, because it's nearly impenetrable. And there is this thing that the natives called Mkele Mbembe, and they were showing them pictures of all these living animals and extinct animals. And they picked out 3. Okay. One, what you see here, which is Mkele Mbembe, which is, they said it's like a 30 to 40 foot long creature, long neck, big belly. The males actually they've talked about the males having a spike or spine coming out the nose. They've talked about some of them have dermal spikes on the back, which kind of like Diplodocus. Some Diplodocus skeletons have been found with dermal spikes. I don't know if that one's real or not. That one doesn't look real. It looks like that looks fake. That definitely looks fake. But who knows? It says this is the crazy thing, y'all. Folks in Africa are getting cell phones. So, yeah, that's not real. Anyway, they have found the actual footprints of this thing. The locals see them. Okay? And the locals have told them, if there's no hippos and there's no crocodiles, you got to get away. Largest animal south. Oh, was it an alligator? Yeah, I mean, but there's 20-foot salties all the time in salties. That's what they call saltwater crocodiles. In Australia, I mean, like they had one with crocodile hunter Steve Irwin. I think they had a 17 or 18-foot one at his place. There's a guy I follow. He's prehistoric something on Instagram, and there was one it's missing an arm, and I think it's 18 feet. And it's funny because like you're like, oh, 18 feet, like, oh, it's like that's not even that's nearly 2 basketball hoops stacked on top of each other. That is an incredibly large animal, but think about it. That's just 18 feet. They're talking about a creature, this thing, 30, 40 feet long. And there's a picture of it. Here we go. This is the one that Ken Hovind uses, and the guy from man, this is getting aggravating that I can't get this thing all in the there we go. Let's do that. And let's just cut out this part of it so when I click on stuff you guys can see it. So yeah, that's the depiction that's used in Roy Mackal, I believe. Now he is a professor, or was a professor, of paleontology at Chicago University. So he's an agnostic or atheist, and he wrote a book, Are Dinosaurs Still Alive? He went down to the Congo several times. They took castings of footprints like these. They found, some of, they actually found where they thought were their dens, because what happens is, when in the water season, when the rivers, go down or the lakes go down a little bit, they can actually find, much like what's theorized about Nessie making underwater caves. Oh yeah, you can totally ride. You can ride a 15-foot, alligator crocodile. You just gotta, make sure it's fed, because otherwise it'll eat you, because you're not gonna stop that thing. I think that's one of the ones that Roy Mackal found. Yeah. So that's there's enough evidence for that, and there's like they were saying this, so they showed them all these different pictures of different extinct animals, and there we go. Oh yeah, Loch Ness, man. Over 10,000, or I think it's over 30,000 sightings now. But check this out, okay? I think even better than not that Loch Ness doesn't have a lot of compelling evidence. Yeah, this was from a movie was that from the movie they made? There was a movie they made called Baby, I think, and that was actually something I saw as a kid. Made with animatronic dinosaurs. So anyway, so that's Mukele and Mbembe. They've been talking about they still see this thing down there, and there's been people that have they've tried to go down there, and apparently just from the leeches, the parasites, and the amount of mosquitoes which land on you, something like 1 million an hour. Yeah, if you're from the civilized Western world, you just can't hang. You can't. It's near intolerable, and even with guides, it's just, and that's the crazy thing. So the few people that have actually seen it from the Western world, like the humidity, like the elements destroyed their cameras, or the cameras fogged up, so the pictures look like garbage, or they were told by their guides, like they would hear it and the guides would they'd be in the boat and be like, we got to turn around right now, because that's how fierce they are. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like if there's no crocodiles, no hippos, that it's around. They said they're fiercely territorial, and it's a 40-foot reptile, 40-foot mega beast, and that's the awesome thing. So this thing, Dr. Grady McMurtry, McMurtry or McGurtry? I think it's McMurtry. Let's go there. All right, so this right here, where's Behemoth in here? There we go. But hold on. So this right here it's not like a species name. It's actually a title. In Hebrew, it means beast of beasts. Beast of beasts. So he's like, this is the chief. He is the chief of the ways of God. He that made him can make his sword to approach. Like he's near invincible and invulnerable. Which is why, in all those, like you were talking, Heather, all those pictures and depictions of them being hunted, it was always like 6, 7, 10, dudes trying to take on like a medium-sized one, because you're not going to take on the big ones. And even then, like the big ones now are not the ones that are as big as by the flood postulated by the canopy theory, which really there's a lot of evidence to support that is true, because they do have oxygen samples, like the whole Jurassic Park thing. They've got amber with oxygen bubbles in it, and they've tested it, and the oxygen in the amber, the oxygen levels in those air bubbles is like something like 50% higher than what we have today. You know what you could do physically if there was more oxygen in the air? Your muscles don't get as tired. Your lactic acid doesn't build up so you can run harder, faster, longer, because your body's getting more oxygen. Crazy fun fact about sauropods and even some dinosaurs, but like even let's go back to Mukele Mbembe. This thing, let's find one of the bigger pictures. Let's go back to this thing. Okay, so here we go. So this is that's Mukele Mbembe, right? So that thing, look at the size of the nostrils. It's basically sauropods have nostrils the size of a horse. How in the world is it supposed to function? Now, that one at that size, can function, but how do you get one that's 3 times, 10 times that size? The super large brachiosaurs. The theories are that not only was there increased oxygen, there was increased air pressure. So more air pressure means you don't have to, the air is automatically being pushed into your nostrils, which is why, a beast that big. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. You get bigger plants, you get, there's all sorts of things that go much better with increased. So check this out. This is an actual photo. Looks like this is a newer one. There's an HD one. Okay, now I want to find there's got to be an HD photo. Oh, 100%, Heather. No, where is the HD photo? There's an HD photo of this that I just saw on the Crazy Alien Guy. The Crazy Alien Guy TV show. Maybe this is it. Anyway, so this is an actual photo taken by, Sandra Manzi. So Kent Hovind has actually interviewed this woman. Okay? He's actually the woman that took this photo was actually interviewed. He asked this woman point blank, "Do you think you saw a dinosaur?" Okay, this is in Lake Champlain on the Vermont-New York border, like it says right there. Okay, this is in the United States. In the United States. He asked her. She was with her husband and children, so her whole family was there when they took this picture. "Do you think you saw a dinosaur?" She says no. "I know I saw a dinosaur." She describes the skin. They watched it for several minutes before it disappeared, and then shortly thereafter, like a boat came by, so obviously the boat kind of scared it off. Look at that thing. She took that from the shore. You can watch documentaries and stuff of how far away you can, they postulate that thing is something like 30, as small as 35 feet, as large as 50, feet, depending on the exact place it was in the lake. And there's stuff like this. If you get into this cryptozoology stuff, you can just sit there for days and days and days. So that kind of gets me back to the whole thing with the politics thing and conspiracy theories. There's so much we've been lied about. Yeah. Well, yeah, and the food would be better. So, that's like the whole thing, Phil. If you look at prehistoric once again, prehistoric cockroaches, prehistoric dragonflies, everything was bigger. People, there's speculation that Noah was 7 foot tall. I don't know if it's in Talmudic or ancient rabbinical writings, but they talk about like ancient man, Adam, and his descendants, that first generation that was all washed away with the flood, not the Nephilim, that's a whole other conversation, but just men in general were larger, which, think about it. Once again, higher O2 levels, more perfect genetics, okay? More perfect genetics. They were super intelligent, all sorts of stuff. But anyway, it just kind of brings me back to the whole thing of, there's so much so many lies, so many things that we've been told through the years, that you just don't know what to believe. We know evolution, it just don't work. And this is not a biblical argument. This is from the understanding of DNA. And it's a genetic code. It's information. It's code more sophisticated than any software that has been written today. And this is being done with software, with computers. We have video phones. We have Star Trek phones in our hands, right? So there's so much that we've been lied about. So many lies that we've been told, from the assassination of JFK to what really happened at Roswell. And now that there's reports, now they've basically gone back. Our government has come back and been like, oh yeah, no, we lied about that. No, we're going to call them UFPs, UAPs. We're going to call them UAPs. And yeah, we don't know what they are. Yeah, all these things that they're doing. Yeah, they break the laws of physics. They do all these crazy things. These are the different. Yeah, well, yeah. They're out there. We don't know. We don't talk about that. So I want you guys to make sure you watch. I'm doing a live interview Sunday with the Goslings. If you haven't watched my interview with them, called The Metaphysics of Music, I definitely want you to go back and check that out. But we're going to be talking more about UFOs, and I think they dropped. Did they drop it today? Let me see if they dropped the thing today. Let's see. The Goslings. No, with 2 S's. Come on, guys. But what's some of the stuff that kind of nags at you, that nags at your subconscious or even in your conscious, stuff that you've been told your whole life, that you're like, yeah, I don't buy it anymore, or I never bought it. Yeah. So we're gonna be talking Sunday. Let me pull it up. Oh man, it blew up it changed the thing. Which Penny? Who's Penny C? Is that Mama? Is that my mother-in-law, Miss Penny? Or is here we go. So that's the devil. So we're going to be talking about the devil's interval, which is the tritone, and UFO church. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So you just got to come back and watch that there. Sunday at 5:30. Sunday at 5:30. Make sure you go over here, hit the like, drop something in the comments. I'm going to drop one right now. I can't wait. Gonna be great because I got a rhyme. Oh, Heather, I didn't put I don't have to put the apostrophe in there. So yeah, make sure you go hit like, drop a comment, and go to their channel and make sure you hit the bell. So, tap the bell there so you can make sure you're notified so you don't miss it. Yeah, Heather, you need to check out Dr. Grady. Let's find him over here. We're gonna have to do this another day. Phil, we're gonna do this the yay thing. We're gonna do that another day. I don't want to give any, I don't want people to think that's all Gabe talks about is Kanye, Mr. Ye West. No, I don't. Dr. Grady, it is McMurtry. I was right. So yeah, check out Dr. Grady McMurtry. He's got some awesome stuff on carbon dating. He actually does a little bit of a better breakdown than Kent Hovind. He goes into the fallacies. It might be in my science and faith playlist. He does one. It's like 7 or 10 videos, maybe less, in little 10-minute spots, and he talks about, like, there's basically 10 assumptions that is made in all radiometric dating. That, it's essentially what he says is, if you walk into a room and a candle is lit, how do you tell when it was lit? You can't. You can measure. You can measure a lot of things, but you can never measure, like, when was it lit and how long it was. You just can't tell. So maybe I might be messing that up, but anyway, he's got some great stuff. So yeah, like that radiometric dating, I haven't bought since I was a teenager. When I was told or read, and I think this was in like a secular science book. So even they were like, yeah, well, there's issues with it because we carbon dated a penguin that was alive and it registered like 30 million years old. And then we registered a bone of a mammoth and it was 15 million years old. I mean, it's just, and it's funny because Dr. Grady McMurtry actually goes into, like, if something carbon dates older than 250,000 years, that they don't know what they're talking about because it can't be used for anything longer than that. They have to use other radiometric datings methods to date things that are older than that because of the half-life of carbon. So that's things that we don't see people exploring the deep mountains or doing fires with jungles using heat centers. Yeah, I honestly, to go do a conspiracy theory of a conspiracy, of a conspiracy theory, to have a conspiracy inception, I wouldn't be surprised if, much like the skeletons of giants that have disappeared and all sorts of shenanigans involving the Smithsonian, it wouldn't surprise me if they weren't going out and hunting and killing and destroying these creatures just to prove that evolution is, because if you have dinosaurs that are alive, it immediately disproves evolution, which is funny because when they started, when somebody accidentally caught a coelacanth, and this was before the age of information, so the photo made it around the world before they could put a stop to it. And then, of course, we're like, well, they know the coelacanth is out, so we can't stop that one. They started getting them on video, and it's like, well, okay. And nobody wants to, everybody wants to see dinosaurs. Everybody's fascinated with dinosaurs, which is why Satan uses them to propagate the lie of evolution and get people to not believe in God. It's funny that the thing that he said was the pinnacle of his creation, the chief. That's the word he used in Job. What was it over here? The chief of all the ways of God, that he would use that. He's like, man, I'm going to use that to deceive people. That's just how the devil does. But yeah, we'll do more UFO stuff. I'll get into more UFO stuff with the yes, y'all. If you're not subscribed, you got to go check out Rod, Jew and Greek. I cannot wait. Rod, let me know. I can't wait for that, man. Like, I'm gonna have some questions that I'm gonna text you, be like, and hopefully, the questions you're gonna ask him are like, okay, nope, he's already gonna ask him that. So, but dude, I am so excited about. I want to bring him to the Charlotte area. I really want to bring him to the Charlotte area. Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, Phil, I'm telling you, man. When you look into that whole Jack Ruby thing, there's an author, an investigative reporter that Joe Rogan had on his show. Let me see. Joe Rogan, JFK, Jack Ruby. Let's see. No, not that guy. Not that guy. Where is he? Oh my gosh. YouTube, maybe they pulled it down. Nope, here he is. I'll pull up the side by side so you guys can see the this one right here. I don't know this guy's name. Let me see if it says it right here. Oh, yeah, the video's unavailable because it's on Spotify now. Who is this guy? I can't remember this guy's name, but let me see. Tom O'Neill. There you go, Tom O'Neill. Yeah. So these clips with this guy Tom O'Neill. Whew, you grew up with Oswald's niece? What in the heck, Rod? Oh my gosh. Rod, you're not a part of the government conspiracy, are you? You're not in the Matrix, Rod. Rod, come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on. I mean, come on, man. Don't you got me a little worried now. You got me a little worried. Yeah, that's I tell you something crazy that my buddy Phil, not Phil Von Cannon that's in the stream, my buddy Phil Hall, my bro Phil Hall. I was showing him The Irishman, that Scorsese movie with dealing with what's his name, the union guy that disappeared. Oh, help me out. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tired. Jimmy Hoffa. There we go. It's with Jimmy Hoffa and Bobby Kennedy and all that stuff. When Kennedy is assassinated in the movie, when that happens in the timeline, Oswald's brother was a salesman in my hometown. Dude, that is bonkers, Rod. Oh my gosh. What stories did she have to tell? Or are you talking about Marilyn Manson, Penny? Anyway, so in the movie, let me see if I can pull it up. JFK assassination. There's a assassination Irishman. There's a commercial that plays in the background. It's a coffee. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, let me let's pull up the side by side and unmute it.
That King's the best. He's the best. He's a good guy. You see him stand up?
Yeah, so mind the swearing because I'm sure there's swearing in here. Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet you the niece of Oswald has stories to tell. So I want you to listen. Listen. Okay, so they pulled the actual footage. He actually ran the legit news breaking story and used that in the movie, right? So this is.
Stay tuned. President Kennedy has been shot by a would-be assassin in Dallas, Texas. Stay tuned to CBS News for further details.
Now listen what happens.
It takes more than an instant to make a real cup of coffee. That's why Nescafe has come up with a new kind of coffee. It's more.
Okay, now let me see if I can find this. JFK. Oh, I bet she didn't want to talk her uncle. Okay, this. So they interrupted As the World Turns, the soap opera. This, I'm telling you, this is where you get into serious conspiracy theory land. This is the commercial that ran right after that. When they
building your business online,
when they interrupted the broadcast. This freaked me out the first time, and it was my buddy Phil that pointed out to me. He was like, did you know about that Nestle commercial that they ran afterwards? He said, look at what they're doing. He said they're literally hypnotized the nation. Check this out and listen to what they're saying. Okay, so I'm going to play it so you can hear that it's the same broadcast that they played in the movie.
Repeating, a bulletin from CBS News. President Kennedy has been shot by a would-be assassin in Dallas, Texas. Stay tuned to CBS News for further details.
It takes more than an instant to make a real cup of coffee. That's why Nescafe has come up with a new kind of coffee. It's more than an instant. It's new Minute Brew Nescafe. Anybody can make a coffee more instant, but Nescafe makes it more coffee. A new kind of coffee.
What is the purpose?
Brew. Minute Brew Nescafe is a new discovery, a new way to hold in extra rich flavor. So please help us. Let it brew in the cup a few seconds longer for all that extra flavor to come out. In other words, with Minute Brew Nescafe, it takes a little longer, but you get a lot more coffee.
Oh my gosh.
If you agree it takes more than an instant to make a real cup of coffee, buy this completely
I can't take it anymore. So, is it just they just happen to run that coffee commercial afterwards? Did I just blow your mind, Heather Britt? Did your mind just get blown out? Did your mind just go? I mean, here's the thing, y'all. If the Lord, the whole commercial, and that's not even the end of it. It keeps going.
New Minute Brew Nescafe. It's more than an instant, yet costs no more. New Minute Brew.
They're literally hypnotized. And then it goes back to As the World Turns. Here we go. Back to the
first portion of this program has been
As
brought
the
to you
World
by
Turns.
Newsoft Fabric Softener.
I mean, that's just. Now, would we have conspiracy theories today if they'd have run like a toilet, a toilet paper commercial or like a paper towel commercial, Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even when I was growing up, it was like, well, maybe it was some people in the government. It wasn't everybody. I mean, I'm just that, and this is where we started, where I was by myself for like 15 minutes before, where it was just me and Phil Von Cannon holding it down. This is what gets me so, I get upset, but I don't stress about the state of politics in our nation. But as a believer, seeing this level of deception and knowing that this level of evil has been pervasive since the 60s, the 50s, and then you even go back until when like the Capitol was built and you have Egyptian obelisks with, 33, you have Masonic imagery and Masonic stuff in all these buildings in the Capitol. It's like, it makes me look at, the few of my friends, and the one friend I was talking about specifically in the beginning, who's just kind of turned off of politics altogether. And he's just like, Jesus didn't deal with it. Paul didn't deal with it. The disciples didn't deal with it. They just preached the gospel. Talking about Gruber's and Pizzagate. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sis, I mean, like, that's the whole thing with Alex Jones. He was talking about Epstein when I was in college. In the early 2000s when I first heard about him, like he was talking about that. And, we just thought it was, he'd say some things. You're like, well, yeah, it was probably an inside job with 9/11 and probably an inside job with Kennedy. But yeah, this is a little far-fetched. This guy's having, prostitution rings with underage, girls and, with politicians and leaders and kings and princes. And then, here we go. It's all real. Yeah. I mean, that's the meme we keep on seeing, right? We have the list of the truckers that donated to, for the Canadian truckers that donated to that thing. We have that list of names, but we don't have the list of names on Ghislaine Maxwell's, of her clients. To the day she died, also mother insisted that he was framed to the day he died. Robert. Yeah, absolutely. That's interesting. That the mother said that he was framed, and the brother. Oh, well, you know what? It sounds like somebody in a black suit and a black hat came over and talked to that brother and said, "You better keep your mouth shut. Hey man, just do what we say, and things will go good for you." I mean, that's just. I mean, Am I the only one? Am I crazy? Am I crazy to think that? I mean, look at Jack Ruby. Jack Ruby literally, he shoots Oswald, and as soon as he shoots him, he turns around as they're about to bum rush him. He's like, "Hey, what's happening? What are you guys? What are you doing?" And he starts naming it because he knew a lot of the cops and a lot of the agents there by name, and he was like, I mean, I'm telling you, that Tom O'Neill thing with Joe Rogan will blow your mind. With, I think it was Tom O'Neill. Yeah, Tom O'Neill. He talks about like the psychiatrist that went and talked to Ruby. That Ruby was basically, he was like wondering, like, why'd you guys put in jail? Like, I didn't do that. And they're like, you did it. We watched you do it. And it's like, oh, his mom was a nutcase. Well, I mean, in that kind of, well, so now you're saying his mom was a nutcase, but now we got to bring Kanye into the mix because that's what he talks about. He talks about them drugging him. No, I don't even think it was JFK knew too much, Heather. I think it was he was going to disband the CIA. He wanted to do like Lincoln did. I mean, I'm reading a book that my mechanic gave me that I'm like, it doesn't give me a whole lot of new information. It just really puts it succinctly instead of going into 17 rabbit trails and making a spaghetti Western, here's the spaghetti and here's how it all fits. It's like, no, it's very concise and very clear. But that was the whole thing that Lincoln did with the greenbacks. I mean, he did that to fund the Civil War. I mean, it's really interesting. Like, basically, he wanted to get these banks out and like not enslave the American people to a system of debt. And what happens to Lincoln? JFK wanted to get rid of the Fed, get rid of the CIA. What happens? Gone. It's oh yeah, he was gonna shut it down. When we look at that video of JFK. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can't. I mean, like that's even Rogan's thing. Rogan's thing with that whole thing with the magic bullet. He's like, he hunts elk. He's like, you don't use a firearm and have a bullet. Oh, he was going. Well, so here's the interesting thing that actually Roger Stone, I have to find his documentary. I'm going to watch it, maybe the next time we do one of these conspiracy talks here. But Roger Stone had an interview with Rogan and really insightful stuff there. Really, if you got some time and you're prayed up and you've done all your Bible reading, check it out. But he talks about some crazy stuff that basically after World War II, the government knew that Russia was going to be the next big enemy. And they're like, don't let them recover. Let's just go ahead and take care. Let's cut off communism right now. Right here, right there. Let's take care of communism right away. Let's not let it fester because these guys are going to be a problem. So all the generals wanted to do that. We were done. We had just had, been through World War II. So when Kennedy got in and all this stuff happened with the Cuban Missile Crisis, like they wanted, like, no, we got to stop this communism thing. We want to go. Now, granted, was it warmongering? Was it freedom fighting? I don't know. But Roger Stone goes into detail with that. And it's really interesting that he basically is like, yeah, I'm not trying to get us dragged into another war. And on top of everything else. So he basically would not play ball with anybody. He was not playing ball with anybody. Which also makes it interesting that the one thing that he did get behind was space. That's a whole other conspiracy theory of people that don't believe that space. To me, when it gets into space and flat Earth and NASA, once again, I ask questions and I'm skeptical because I've been lied. We've been lied to so much already. We've been literally every image we've ever seen of space is fake. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. It's all computer generated. I mean, they say that I mean, just go look at the Van Allen radiation belts. They say that right now we can't go back to the moon. We can't go out of lower orbit where the space station supposedly is going around the world because the Van Allen radiation belts. How the heck did they do that with tinfoil in the 60s? Go to the moon several times, supposedly. Am I saying they didn't do it? I'm not saying they didn't do it. But to me, it's suspect when we lost the telemetry data. You lost one of the most important. This is some of the most. One could argue the most important data in human history. The telemetry data of how we got from here to the moon. They lost it. You lost it? Yeah, that's the whole thing. But even then, with Oswald going to Russia, it's like, did he do that on the U.S.'s dime? Did he do it on Russia's dime? Did he do it on his own dime? There's just, I just turn into Jesse Ventura. It's like, I'm just asking questions. Yeah, maybe it was on a laptop. Yeah, all that. Yeah. Yeah, and that's, getting into modern conspiracies that, with some emails. Well, forget the modern, you're talking about with pictures and documents and all that other stuff, Heather. That whole, that's a conspiracy theory. And here, less than 18 months later, it's like, oh no, it's legit. No, it's really his laptop, and we know who. We all know who we're talking about. So you don't have to drop names in the comments. Anyway, that's just. We got to end this. It's been about an hour and a half, and I wish y'all would have jumped on earlier, but I didn't. I honestly wasn't even sure if I was going to hop on, but I'm trying to do this on a regular basis. Oh my gosh, yeah, that Las Vegas. Let me tell you, the last time I played a show in Vegas, we asked our cab. Well, it wasn't a cab driver; he was a driver for the casino, and it's funny. I actually just got an offer to play in Vegas next year. And we were asking him, like, what happened with that thing, with that shooting in Las Vegas? He's like, man, I got a brother and this and that. And, we don't know. We don't know. Once again, that whole thing disappeared from the news. But yet we had like the Kyle Rittenhouse thing where we're going to talk about that for every day for a year and a half. But we still don't know. Like in these school shootings, like the one that just happened in Texas where the cops are literally sitting outside for an hour listening to this guy. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, no, I feel you, Heather. Yeah, I'm not gonna end up on the Clintons' kill list, or the Clintons. You can't say that word. Oh, I probably said it already, several times. YouTube doesn't like that word. I remember the 1956 I referring to Van Allen belt as impenetrable. Yeah, the Van Allen radiation belt, you can't get past it. Which takes us back to the Bible. Here's the thing that Rob Skiba, may he rest in peace. You don't know who Rob Skiba was. He was a tremendous, like a super, super Christian. He was a Torah observant and went deep into Enoch, the extra biblical texts, and those kinds of subjects. And he actually passed away supposedly from the virus, which shall not be named. But he postulated that that Babel was built for height. He basically believed in the dome theory. But think about it. If the radiation belts are impenetrable, and it says the Lord looked down and said, if we don't stop them, nothing we do. Let's go. Let's go there. We'll do this, then we'll wrap up. That's we're gonna go, and that's kind of my thing as believers. We're kind of like the original conspiracy theorists, because Yeshua, Christ rising from the dead was like one of the first conspiracy theorists, because they literally conspired to tell a lie that, we're going to tell them that the disciples, that his followers came and stole away the body. his disciples came out and took out a Roman centurions? That's like saying, like, hey man, your elder board, your deacon board of your church is going to go take out some special forces soldiers. These guys are paid for war, and just some, uh, uh, a tax collector, some fisherman, a doctor, these guys went and took out some special forces guys. That's you. And there's people today, 2,000 years later, that his body was stolen by his disciples. That didn't happen. Are you crazy? And on top of the fact, they rolled away the stone. Oh, absolutely. Well, hold up. I'm gonna read it to you. We're gonna read it to you. We're gonna read it right here. We're gonna end with some Bible. Hold up. That's not the Tower of Babel. Where's the Tower of Babel? Oh, maybe it is there. Oh, it is 1 through 9. All right. And the Lord came down to the city and the tower which the children of men built. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one. That's interesting. Grammar there. And they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Now let's change the. I want to change that to the Amplified. This is only the beginning of what they will do in rebellion against me, and now no evil thing they'd imagine will be impossible for them. He basically said they're going to succeed if we don't stop them. This is the crazy thing about what human beings are capable of, which we're now starting to see a little bit. Of course, I postulate that a lot of our technological advances have been demonically advanced. If you look into some of the things that Nikola Tesla did, I mean, Nikola Tesla was basically bankrupted on purpose by other industrialists. And then the U.S. government came and stole all his, as soon as he died, they came and stole all of his work, stole all of his patents, all of his stuff disappeared. He had invented death rays, weapons involving sound, ways to pull the energy out of the air like the ancients did. If you understand ancient superstructures, stuff like the pyramids in South America, these things that are on ley lines. I mean, all sorts of crazy stuff. But basically, the Lord himself said, no, absolutely, Heather, there's nothing new. The only thing we learn from history is that we don't learn from history. It just continues to repeat until the Lord breaks the cycle. But he said, no evil thing they imagine they can do will be impossible for them. What does the scripture in the New Testament say? All things are possible through Jesus Christ. He said, basically, if men can imagine evil when they have one language and are united, they can do it. We're made in his image. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, basically, so the rule is think of what you have, think of what technology we have, the consumer version, and the government had it. I think they say as little as 20 to 50 years they had is what they postulate. But that didn't really start until, like you said, the 20s. It really, and you look at technology, it made a super leap. It made a super leap in the 40s. What happened in the 40s? They made a super leap in the United States in the 40s. We were whooping everybody's butt. We invented the bomb. What happened in the 40s? What happened in the 40s? What was that little thing? Roswell. That little, Roswell. That happened in the 40s. Yeah, we must align with the King of Heaven, not the Prince of the Air. 100%. 100%. So, yeah, I have questions, and I question everything now. I question every politician, both sides of the fence. And that's kind of what I want us to pray about. And honestly, I'm hoping to be a bridge maker and a peacemaker amongst us in our community here in this area that I live in, because I think that's all that's going to matter when it comes down to it, if the Lord tarries and the creek don't rise and all of us are still living here. It's a lot tougher for things to affect you directly if those that lead your communities aren't down with the status quo. You can kind of insulate yourself a little bit, but that's all I have for right now. This is the first installment of Politics, Christian Conspiracy Theories, and Christians. So that's if you found something of value, I'm going to try to cut out some of the stuff, talking about the dinosaurs, so talking about the suicide of Paul picture with so those of you that missed it, there we are. There's the sauropods of some kinds being ridden on men in a painting from 1526. There's Mukele Mbembe, the creature that is seen all the time or not all the time, but it's seen in the Congo. That's Champ. There's Lake Champlain monster. That's a photo taken by, I can't remember the name of the lady. Hold up. I think it's here when I click on it. Yeah, Sandra Mancy that Kent Hovind interviewed, and you can actually watch that interview. He filmed it, and it's at the end of his video talking about dinosaurs. I'll put that link up there. Maybe we'll just do an episode talking about that. So that's an amazing teaching that I enjoy to watch. So that's all we got. Make sure you subscribe to the Goslings channel for the video coming up on Sunday. So tune into that. Go to the Goslings. Hold up. How do I? Oh my gosh. This is so aggravating sometimes. Hold up. Nope, not that one. This one. There we go. So go to the Goslings. Is that my mother-in-law Penny? Is that who's Penny C? Penny C, can you identify yourself? Are you somebody that I know personally? I can't tell in the picture, so I can't tell if this is my mom-in-law or if this is somebody else. It's hard for me to see because I'm looking at it on my phone, so I can't tell. But yeah, we'll be doing this. Maybe we'll do the the conspiracies thing, conspiracy theories and whatnot. Maybe we'll do that once a month, because it's definitely something that I get down on, and it would be very interesting actually to walk you guys through the Charles Manson, the JFK stuff that Tom O'Neill talks about, the on Joe Rogan. Yeah, all sorts of crazy stuff, and it's funny because the stuff with Manson involves music. Oh, someone from Wyoming. Well, thank you so much, Penny C, for jumping in. Glad you're here, and subscribe, hit the bell. Definitely watch that thing. Oh, so you said you saw the interview with the Goslings, right? You saw the thing from the Goslings, and that's what brought you here. And I'll wait for your response. I won't end until you let me know. So, yeah, my mother-in-law is named Penny, so that's why I was like, but her last name starts with a B, so I was like, Penny C. I was like, oh no, that's not her. Well, actually, the C is her maiden name. So I was like, well, maybe it's my mother-in-law. I couldn't tell. So, and Penny's not really a common name. So, the only other Penny other than my mother-in-law and you now is Penny from Inspector Gadget, the super genius Penny with the dog brain. Go Gadget, go, go Gadget, go. Just waiting for you to type to tell me if you came here from the Goslings, Miss Penny C. Thanks, Phil, for tuning in. Thanks, Rod. Penny Liz neighbor. I don't know, Phil. You talk about my mom-in-law Penny. I don't know her neighbors' names. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Penny. Thanks, Rod. Rod, man, boy, we got something to talk about next time, man, with that. Oh, Penny was my little chihuahua. I see. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, that one we're going to do Sunday. And they told me I have to play saxophone on it. So I'm going to set up my saxophone. I'm going to have my microphone. And if you saw that first interview, we just went all over the place. They'd ask a question and we just would talk for 30 minutes and be like, wow. And then they'd be like, wait, we have so many. I think they told me some of the questions that they didn't get to ask me that we're going to try to get through all of them this coming interview. It's going to be, yeah. And hopefully the Lord is glorified in all these things. That's the goal. It's about pointing people to Jesus. And that's the point of this, talking about politics and conspiracy theories. I want all of this to get people thinking, don't trust the powers that be. Don't trust what you were taught in school. You need to trust the one that created the universe, the one that formed you and knitted you in your mother's womb. That's what I pray that this would drive people to. You ask enough questions and you start to, okay, there is truth. And the truth is not, the truth isn't objective or subjective. The truth is a person. Jesus said, I am the truth. Like Judge Dredd said, I am the law. Jesus said, I am the truth. So the truth is a person. When you find truth, let me tell you, that's just pointing you. It's a little sign saying, go to Jesus. Look to Jesus. Look to Yeshua. Look to the Savior. Look to the anointed one, the King, the one that died on the cross so that we can be reconciled with our Heavenly Father. That's what this is all about. So don't trust in horses. Don't trust in chariots. Don't trust in governments. We will trust in the name of our Lord, having wisdom and peace through the craziness while focusing on Jesus. Yeah, and honestly, we don't have to get. I tell myself, don't get upset about this. The Lord's in control. The Lord knows what's going on. I just ask him, what do you want me to do, Lord? How can I pray, and what can I put my hands to? What actions can I put? What works can I do? Because, we show our faith by our works. We're not saved. We're not justified by works, but we show our faith through works. Faith is an action. Faith is a work. It's as simple as a word. That's why he said, believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord. There has to be some action, even if it's as little, or as powerful as just words. I'm like, Lord, what do you want me to do? So here I am. Here I am, a #1 Billboard smooth jazz musician with Christian albums and that tours doing Stevie Wonder tributes and Toto tributes and gigging, doing private gigs and, serving at my local congregation here in Locust, North Carolina, living in Mount Pleasant. And, I'm a mixed bag of nuts. Of course, most of us are. Most of us aren't one-dimensional. Most people are at least 6 or 7-dimensional, right? So may the Lord be glorified in all this. So, like I said, some may trust in horses. Some may trust in governments. Some may trust in parties. We're going to trust in Jesus. We're going to trust in Lord, Father God, the King of the universe, King of kings, Lord of lords, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. We're going to trust in his word and read it. And we're going to have peace and joy and happiness, righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Ghost. That's the kingdom of God. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you Sunday with the Goslings. Next Tuesday with some kind of music live stream. Next Wednesday, right back here for another talk. We don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about something, whether it be music or the kingdom or something, some other culture relevant thing. So we'll see y'all later. Jesus loves you, and so do I. Take care.